Very few people have an issue with religions, but nobody wants to be in a cult. So, what's the difference? Well, unfortunately, the difference is hard to pinpoint because nobody can agree on what a cult is. That's why I believe the definition I came up with in this video is far more accurate to help you understand what is and isn't a cult better than the average person. I don't want to do the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines cult as cliche, but I did have to check multiple definitions for cults to make this video. And what I noticed is that most dictionaries don't agree on just one definition. In some, a cult is just a group of people who have beliefs considered extreme or strange, while other dictionaries sometimes add things like coercion and isolation into the definition of a cult. I've even seen definitions that say cults are simply religious groups with the founder as a charismatic leader, and once the leader dies, if the cult keeps going, then it becomes a religion regardless of their beliefs or practices because the charismatic leader is gone. That's because the term cult has been used so much in so many contexts that it has lost its meaning, if it ever had one. And that is a huge problem because the only ones benefiting from this confusion are cults. Cults will look at all the definitions, take the one that least sounds like their cult, and will use it to tell everyone that they are not a cult. Nobody wants to join a cult, but if a group of seemingly friendly people is showing you with the dictionary that the definition of cult does not include them, then how can you say their group is a cult? Having even one dictionary that defines cult in a way that doesn't fit their harmful group, or worse, one so loose that it fits almost any group, ends up becoming a shield for every cult that wants to fool others into thinking it's not a cult. That makes the word completely meaningless. But what if we simply want to differentiate between a harmful NXIVM-like cult and the church that your grandma goes to every Sunday, mostly to gossip with her friends and play bingo at? What if we just want cult to mean a mostly harmful group and religion a mostly harmless group? If that's how we want to define it, then we can summarize the difference in one word: control, because that's literally the only thing that cults want. Think of it as the difference between a healthy romantic relationship and a harmful relationship with a narcissist. They both are aimed to fulfill your romantic needs, and they might even look the same at the beginning, but one is constructive and the other one is destructive. So, how can you tell the difference? By the level of control. In harmful relationships, it's very easy to see because the control is just one-sided. Find who controls the relationship and you'll find the harmful person. You might think that this doesn't apply to religions because religions are always one-sided, telling you how to live your life by definition. But it does. A cult or high control group or sect or however you want to call them has only one purpose: to control how you live your life. Since that's their purpose, the ultimate goal of a cult is to gain blind obedience. To achieve this, a cult won't just tell you how to live your life. It will actively punish you if you do the opposite. Although some use physical punishment and even invite parents to physically punish their kids, most will punish rebellious followers through social methods like shunning and ostracizing, and a cult that has successfully indoctrinated its followers will use extremely powerful dynamics not to just victimize them, but to make them believe that they deserved it. And how do they gain this control? Well, like in a romantic relationship with a narcissist, it all starts with a seduction period. How would that look like? Well, followers start bombarding you with love, affection, and attention, making you feel more than welcome among them. They all seem to have some sort of unique knowledge that sets them apart from everyone else, including some kind of unbelievable beliefs. However, you are encouraged to not worry about those and instead focus on your own indoctrination. They will invite you to apply some of the learnings to your life, giving you stuff like breathing exercises to clear your mind, or invitations to meetings where you can meet other friendly people, or literature that you can read so you can assimilate their beliefs. Not the weird beliefs, you're not ready for those yet, but just the entry-level stuff. And although there are some weird things in whatever they tell you to do, you end up surprising yourself. The breathing exercises work. The people at the meetings are just nice, happy people. The literature has actual insight that you've never seen anywhere else. You start thinking, hey, if they're right about this, then what else can they be right about? It's a lot like the start of a bad relationship. It doesn't start with them hurting you, it starts with them seducing you. So you actually start to love them and feel enough attraction to them so you want to stay when they hurt you or even make you believe that you deserved it. And if that works, then the cult will step it up and make it personal. They will find out your weakness and weaponize them against you. Are you afraid of death? Is any aspect of your life unstable? Have you lost someone? Are you trying to determine what to do with your life? Any crisis you have can be solved if you belong to this lovely group of cordial people. By making it personal, it bypasses the last bit of critical thinking that you had. After all, if this group has promised to solve your biggest problems in life, then you will want to believe the doctrine and follow through. You don't need to understand how it works exactly. You just need to obey and be blessed. To you, the ends justify the means. A cult will promise to fix everything that's wrong in your life as long as you obey them in everything. The moment you make that jump and allow yourself to believe that they know best is the moment that you will start following the doctrine and therefore fall under their control. All that's left is to fully lock you in. And all the cult has to do is to diminish your self-worth so you believe you don't deserve any better. You are a sinner. You are a good-for-nothing slave. You are lucky to be in this group because you have no value outside of this group. This, again, is what a narcissist would do if they're trying to control you in a romantic relationship. First, they will promise you the moon. And once you believe it, they strengthen their control by diminishing your own self-worth, telling you you are lucky to get any crumbs of affection from them and trying to convince you that nobody could ever love the real you other than them. So now, you want to believe the doctrine. You're fully obedient and you're fully under the cult's influence. But your indoctrination might still get broken if someone else pokes holes in it, or if you find information leading to you learning the truth. And that is why a cult will also control the information you consume and will label any negative information about the cult as evil, apostate, liberal propaganda, or whatever word they can use to demonize the source without having to debunk the argument. The principle is simple. Outside criticism equals evil, and followers must avoid it at all costs. This is very similar to how a narcissist will tell you that any other people warning you about them and their true intentions are just crazy or vengeful exes that you should never ever listen to. People stay in a bad relationship for the same reason people stay in a cult. It's not because it makes them happy, it's because they believe that's their best shot at happiness in the future. And once you fully believe that, then it's easy to fully control you by telling you that doing things their way, even if you don't get them or if you don't want to do them, is how you will achieve that happiness in the future. This often includes lying to others about how good your relationship with God is or with the cult, even when it's not, just as people in a controlled relationship do. You might even want to start gaslighting people to make them believe that you're happier now because you truly believe that you should be, and if you're not, then it's your own fault. Now, the cult can ask you to do literally anything, and you have no way of saying no, since saying no will be taken negatively, like an insult or a lack of commitment. What matters now isn't what you want or feel. What matters is that you follow what the cult wants from you, regardless of whether you like it or not. What matters is that you surrender the control of your life to the group. When you do that, you give the cult the only thing it wants: full control over your life. This whole process that I just explained to you is what cult experts call mind control, what courts call coercive control, what relationship experts call abusive relationships, or what anybody else calls manipulation. It's all the exact same thing. Making people believe that surrendering control over their lives will bring them well-being later. That is why I've been comparing being in a cult to being in a harmful relationship, because they're both exactly the same. Cults are not weird religions or quirky religions or groups with a charismatic leader. Cults are the group version of an abusive relationship. The mechanisms of control are the same, the trauma they cause is the same, the reasons why victims stay are the same, and the therapy to help their victims is also the same. As I explained in my video how every cult works, that is exactly why the technical way of referring to cults or high control groups should simply be abusive groups. Because this sophisticated coercive control is exactly the difference between cults and religions. Anti-religious people are already typing in the comments being like, oh, that's what every religion does. But they're wrong, because a normal religion tells you how to live your life, sure, but it allows you to interpret its doctrine and apply it however you see fit without punishment. It's not one-sided. You have control over your life too, and if the religion asks you to do something, you should always be free to disagree. In an unhealthy relationship, in a cult, or in a high control group, there are no valid reasons to end the relationship. Now, they might admit that they're not perfect, and they constantly remind you of how you are not perfect, but you are never allowed to point out how they are not perfect. Because the moment you realize that you should be able to criticize them like they criticize you, is the moment that you realize that they don't know better than you. If they don't know better, then you don't have to always obey them. And if you don't have to always obey them, then they can't control you. If you're in a cult and you figure this out, you'll experience what most cult survivors usually call waking up from indoctrination. And that is not how a normal religion works, because in a normal religion, you have the freedom to disagree with the leaders whenever you want, to apply the doctrine to your life however you want, and to interpret it however makes the most sense to you. A priest is like a prehistorical therapist, giving you advice on how to live your life, but not punishing you if you don't follow on that advice. And since a normal religion doesn't control every member, then they can't weaponize the members against you as cults do. If you leave a religion, they can't make all members shun you because they can't make the members do anything they don't want to do. Being friends with you or shunning you is not up to the religion, it's up to the individuals. Anyone can come in and out of a religion however they see fit, apply the doctrine to their lives however they see fit, and disagree with the religion whenever they want. Being religious is completely okay as long as you're religious because you believe that is the best thing for you right now. Not because you believe that that is the superior religion or the only religion that can say true things. That is the main difference between a religion and a cult. In a cult, the doctrine controls you. In a religion, you control the doctrine. In a cult, whoever controls the doctrine controls you. In a religion, nobody controls you because you are in control of how and when you apply the doctrine. And unlike cults, a good religion allows itself to be used as a form of self-expression. Just like fashion or art, a good religion gives you ways to express yourself, especially when it comes to expressing awe for the universe and when giving kindness to others. God, Allah, Jesus, karma, or whatever other higher power a religion has becomes an excuse to alleviate pain that cannot be fixed, to give us strength when we're weak, and to be kind to other people. I was in the hospital last month. My partner had pneumonia and had to spend a couple of nights there. We got there in an ambulance. We weren't prepared to spend 2 nights there. The hospital was at the edge of the city, and I didn't even have my own car. The public hospital was overfilled, and they made me wait in the waiting area for the 2 days that my partner was getting care. And after sleeping on the floor of the waiting room the first night, because all the benches were taken, I got out of the hospital for the first time just to look for something to eat and drink. It was a cold morning, and I hadn't even brought a sweater. There was only one small store, and they didn't really sell food. But thankfully, I saw on the street several groups of people that were apparently selling some foods from big coolers. So I approached one of them that had bread and coffee. I asked for one of each, and the woman was extremely kind to me when she gave them to me. Then I asked how much it was, and she looked at me puzzled. "It's St. Jude's Day," she said. That meant nothing or explained nothing to me, so I asked to know more, and she told me that Every St. Jude's Day, they celebrate it by going to public hospitals and giving free food to anyone who needs it. And as she was explaining it, a young woman approached me and asked if I wanted a torta. I said, yes, she gave me one, and she left as I was saying thank you to ask another person if they wanted a torta. They didn't want anything from me. They didn't try to indoctrinate me. They didn't even care to tell me that they were doing this for religious reasons until I asked. They just wanted to feed whoever wanted to be fed and went to a place where they knew that they would find hungry people. I was feeling tired, alone, and afraid, and out of nowhere, here there were people caring for me in such a personal and unexpected way that I felt a little lump on my throat. They didn't ask for my information like Jehovah's Witnesses would. They didn't ask if I wanted to know anything more about them or what they believed in. All they asked was if I wanted to eat, and then they gave me something to eat. Not because they knew me, not because they wanted anything from me, but because their faith moved them to be kind. And that is why religion gets a free pass for taxes, and why it's considered charity, because religion is supposed to help people, and religions, at their best, help people in ways the government cannot. As humans, we have this natural instinct of giving back. If someone gives us a gift or helps us fulfill our needs, it's only human that we feel the need to reciprocate, even when we can't. And if we can't reciprocate, whether because we're poor or because we don't have the chance or because we feel we could never reciprocate, then we get frustrated. It makes it easy for us to reject help, especially when we need it the most, because that is when we are the most unable to reciprocate. But you can bypass this feeling with the social cheat code called God. When you use it, you move the responsibility of making it square or of making it even to this cosmic force. Weirdly enough, religion can be used as a perfect excuse to help someone purely for the sake of doing it. Not because you're expecting something back from them, but because you trust this cosmic force to make it even to you when you need it. And the weirdest part is that it works. Because when we get help, we still feel like we should pay it back. And when we can't, we tend to pay it forward, being far more likely to go out of our way to help someone else than if someone hadn't done that to us originally. And the more we help each other, the more people will have to help each other. It's contagious, and it's the basis of humanity. Cults hijack these human traits and dynamics to benefit themselves. Instead of helping you, they will convince you that they will fix everything wrong with your life in the future to make you feel like you are in debt to them already, and you pay the cult back with your life instead of paying it forward to someone else who is also in need. So why are we treating cults like they are just weird religions, giving them tax breaks and privileged status? By changing our understanding from cults to simply the group form of an abusive relationship, we can differentiate religions that help people from groups that harm them. We can establish a clear line that religions cannot cross without losing their charitable status, and we can modernize our understanding of cults, how they work, and how to help their victims. If you're not religious, this benefits you because this removes the harmful aspects of religion and ensures that they cannot turn harmful and get away with it. And if you're religious, this also benefits you because it will clearly differentiate your religion from harmful groups instead of bundling both together. I'm no longer religious. I'm an atheist since I left the cult, and for a while I was completely anti-religion. My excuse was simple. I have experienced the worst that religious thinking can cause, therefore religion should not be a thing. But now, I think I might have overcorrected back then. I now see how harmful it is to pretend that religions and cults are the same thing. I'm still an atheist, don't get me wrong, and I fundamentally disagree with the idea of some sort of cosmic higher power that takes an interest in us enough to help us. But then again, maybe next time I help a stranger who wants to pay me back, I'll just find myself simply telling them, don't worry about it. It's St. Jude's Day.